Welcome to today's episode of The Layover. I'm your host, Craig, the travel junkie, and today we're speaking to Steve and Nasha Pace from Changing Pace Travels. I'm excited about this episode because Steve and Nasha are soon-to-be husband and wife team that owns and operates their very own travel agency. They curate trips for clients that want to travel, and they also plan and lead group trips all around the world. They're going to come on, talk to us about starting and running a business together, and they will offer some insight on how they dealt with a group trip to Dubai during one of the most trying times in our history. Not to mention, they have a great story about how they met. So let's welcome Steve and Nasha to The Layover. Steve, Nasha, how you guys doing?
Hey, how you doing? We're doing good.
I'm doing well. I am glad you guys could take time out of your busy day to give me just a few minutes of your time so we can talk a little bit about some travel and a little bit about you guys as well.
Yep,
right.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, listen, check it out. Here on the Layover Show, right? It's customary. We like people up front to go ahead and kind of drop all of their social media handles. That way people know how to get in touch with them. And then I'll give you guys some time at the end as well, too, because you know how it is, man. You know, latecomers coming to the show, you know, they may not be listening up front, but they're listening on the tail end. So we want to give it to you up front and in the back. So I'm gonna give you guys a second. Go ahead and drop all of your stuff, man, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you guys got.
All right. Well, our website is changingpacetravel.com. And we actually have two Facebook pages. We have our general business page, Changing Pace Travel, and our group page. We have Changing Pace Travel Group, and that's where we advertise a lot of our group trips and put a lot of group pictures in there from our trips. And on Instagram, we're also at Changing Pace Travel.
Okay. All right. And I like the way you did that, man, because like I said, you guys have the group and the page, because I think that's essential. A lot of times, you know, you got people that are not necessarily in the group, but on the page. And then you got people that are on the page, but not necessarily on the group. So you got to make sure you have that cross marketing. So yeah, I appreciate that. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how you guys doing today, man? I'm checking your temperature. You guys good? You having good weather where you are? First, I got to ask, are you guys in the States? Because, you know, you guys are subject to be like on somebody's island in a minute, you know?
Right. We're trying to get there. We are home here in Atlanta, Georgia, over in Snellville. Enjoying the heat. But yeah, we just came back from Mexico about a week and a half ago. And before that, about 3 weeks before that, we were in Puerto Rico. So we were online last night checking out where we're going next. So yeah, we're trying to get out.
I see. Mexico just last week and you're already planning something else?
Yeah.
She's trying to plan that honeymoon, man. We're getting married in October, so she's like, "Where can we go?" I was like, "Well, we have limited places to go because the U.S. they don't want to let the U.S. in right now." So
right.
Got too many choices.
Man, limited places indeed, no doubt. Listen, congratulations in advance on the wedding. I gotta say that, and I know I'll get an invite. Hint, hint. You know, so I'll have my tux ready, or if I know you guys, I'll have my white linen outfit with my flip flops ready because I'm sure it's gonna be a destination service.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you know what? That's a great segue because what I want to talk to you guys today on the show about is like a little bit about you, a little bit about you guys' business, how you got started, and then, you know, some other things we're going to talk about and delve into. So that was kind of a great segue. You know, you talking about you guys got your wedding coming up, you know, and again, congratulations again on that. But, you know, just talk to me and tell me, like, how did you guys meet and when?
Nasha and I, we're actually from the same hometown, Syracuse, New York, and we went to the same high school together.
Okay.
She graduated in 88 and I graduated in 89. But the thing about it is, I can't remember one conversation that I had with Nasha. So I wasn't checking for her. We just were in the same circles, you know?
Right.
And so years later, multiple years later, unfortunately, one of my best friends passed away in 2016.
Oh, sorry to hear.
Right. And she was at the funeral. Well, she was at the funeral.
Yeah, I was at the funeral.
And so the funeral was over, and I was walking in the back, with the repast and that food, and I saw her sitting at the table by herself. So I'm in line, and she looked familiar,
Right.
and we caught eyes, and she smiled, and I smiled, and I don't know what was in me, but I went over there to say something to her and talk to her, but I didn't know her name.
It was like a movie after that. We just blacked out, fell in love, and here we are.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
we
get talking.
Right. That's that different versions because Nasha, guys, we always have our version. And ladies, you guys always have your version.
That's right. That's right. I was led to there. It was at my church, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that he pretty much summed it up. But that is the truth. We came together. I think it was God intended. At the end of the day, it really was at my home church, and I don't do funerals, so for me to be there, just even on the strength of that, was amazing. And we didn't remember each other's names, and I was all in the obituary, trying to figure out what's his name, and just trying to see, because he was his good friend, so he was mentioned. And so yeah, when I looked at him, I just looked in his eyes, and I was like, he's the one.
Tell him about
nice.
the hug.
Yeah, he gave me a hug. The little goodbye hug.
Right, the church hug, right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I told all my friends, I said, he gave me this hug, and I just knew like that meant something, like I could feel it, and sure enough, it was the truth.
Then she hit me up on the DMs, and
it goes down in the DM, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, if you need to cry, I'm here.
It was like, right. I said, I'll call you in a couple of days when I get back to Atlanta. I ain't think much of it. And so I'm just like, man, I'm going to call this girl. I don't know really what to talk about because I don't know her. Like, we can't talk about the past because we didn't know each other. So, But when I talked to her, everything was just so natural. It was kind of like we knew each other, all our lives.
Yeah.
So, and we talked every day, on. And a couple of weeks later, I flew back up. We went on a date, and a few months later, she was moving down here. So and that's a short story.
Wow. Wow. That is like amazing. I mean, I gotta say, that's like one of the dopest first meeting stories. I mean, aside from the funeral, I know that was your best friend, one of your best friends, man. So my condolences. But in terms of how you guys just, like you said, she was sitting there by herself. You locked eyes. She smiled. You smiled. And the rest is history. And here you guys are. That's like a dope story. But that hug, Nasha, you always have to tell that part. that was hilarious. I'm thinking you about to say, "Oh, it's the little church hug," but no, it
wasn't no church hug.
Right.
I just went for it. But the interesting thing about it, is I was single for a while, and for about 7 years. And the thing about it is my buddy, he was always trying to hook me up with somebody, and he never could hook me up with anybody. They was even not attractive. I wasn't interested in them or whatever. He was just bad at it. Right. So I just kind of thought that us meeting there at his funeral was his, hey, I'm going to leave something for you.
Wow.
So I always, whenever I had doubts and, man, I'm not sure if I want to be in a relationship or I'm not sure if I want to move down here, I kind of remembered that. I was like, that was Jamal's gift to me. So I got to take it.
Oh, man. See, you just brought it on home. Now I got to find me some tissue up in here, man. Let me go get me some tissue real quick. Jamal came through. Look, Jamal was striking out. Jamal was, I mean, Jamal was striking out, and then he hit a grand slam, no doubt.
A grand slam and his death. Yes, you did.
That's dope, man. So let me ask you this. So you guys meet. You didn't really know each other that much, even though you went to the same high school. So I know you had like a whole lot of catching up to do, but I'm sure that made it easy because you guys went to the same high school, so you could relate to some of the same stuff. So in terms of relating to things, so when you guys met, did you guys realize that you both had the travel bug, or did one of you have to convince the other one to start traveling?
Yeah, we both realized we had the travel bug. We realized, we're not only do we go to the same high school, we're from the same hometown. So some things are similar about the hometown. And one of those is a lot of people don't get out. So they kind of stay within four walls. You'll find a lot of people who haven't traveled the world. but we had parents who encouraged us. So we both had that aspiration to see the world and continue it, right?
Right.
I had already been entrenched in my own business, and I was doing things for women only. So I had created women retreats off the backs of being exhausted and tired, being in the community, being an activist, and running this company. And so having retreats was something I was doing for myself. And then I realized a lot of women wanted it. So, this was a natural transition for me to do retreat planning and taking people around the world. And then when I met Steve and we were talking, he was just like, I've always wanted to do travel and do things. So he already had the bug and he had already been doing things himself. And so you might want to talk about that.
Right. Because I like to watch Food Network and Travel Channel and watching, Guy Fieri and Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah. That's one of my heroes right there, Anthony Bourdain. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So, I was like, man, that's interesting, and they were all about connecting with the people where they went, and it was very immersive. Guy Fieri, every restaurant that he went to, if I was traveling on business, say in Dallas, I would pick out a restaurant that was featured on that show and check it out for myself.
Right.
So that's when I kind of got my travel bug as well. You know what I mean? I just wanted to go to those places.
Right.
Okay.
And so one day we were talking and, like you do, and we were just kind of figuring out where we wanted to go, how we wanted to do things. And we just realized that this is something I wanted to do, which is continue to take people places. And Steve and I was also looking into how to turn this into a travel business.
Gotcha.
Somebody introduced me to the idea, and I kind of looked at it, and truth be told, I kind of dibbled and dabbled in just trying it out, but it wasn't for me. And so right around that same time is when I met Steve, and he was talking, and I brought that to him. And he says, wait a minute, I tried that too. I dibbled and dabbled in trying the travel business. And he actually had a little business he was trying to do online. And so we came together because we both understood that we wanted to be in travel. We wanted to do travel business, but how we would do it would be, the end all be all.
Right. Okay, cool. So that's a great story in terms of how you got into the business in terms of turning traveling into a business. So, my segue to that is, so how did you guys come up with your company name? And then, describe a little bit about your actual services for your company.
Right. So coming into it, people always say I'm a life enrichment specialist, just helping people through transitions in life. And part of that has to do with just changing your environment, right? Changing something about what you're doing and doing something different. And
Right.
So that's already what I was doing in my other company, Aim Higher Enterprises. And so this was just a natural transition. So in speaking with Steve, I said, we came from a community, and our parents and different people we know were all in this transition space of being, I don't want to say stuck, but kind of being stuck in a place that they wanted something different from. And so we knew that we could present the opportunity for change. Change had to be a part of that. You have to get comfortable with change. You have to want it. You have to be ready. And we knew that we could present the idea of traveling the world and seeing something different, because it gains exposure. You get some different perception on things, and, it enriches you at the end of the day. So with that being said, that's where the life-changing experience came into play. And then, of course, his name is Pace, Mr. Pace. And then we just built off of it and came up with Changing Pace.
No, I love that, man. Look, listen, Steve, she's a keeper, man. You know what I mean? She found you at the funeral, pretty much, with the help of Jamal, of course, reined you in, told everybody about you in the hug, got with you later on in life, pulled you up by your bootstraps, you know what I mean? Brought you into the business, and then named the business after you. Come on, man. It doesn't get any better than that, man.
Exactly. And she'll be paid soon too.
Yes,
so she can, share in that
exactly.
name.
Exactly. So with the group trips and stuff that you guys do, right? Do you guys have like a cap size on your groups? Okay, so let's say, because I've done group trips as well too, right? And there are certain places that I go, like Greece, to the Greek Isles. Well, it's not recommended that you bring a huge amount of people to the Greek Isles, because on those islands, the hotels are pretty small. So, you can get away with a group of 15, 18 people. But if you're trying to bring 65 folks or something like that, it wouldn't work. So do you guys have caps on your group trips? And then what was your most memorable group trip or travel group experience to date?
Oh, well, we like to keep our trips between, say, 25 to 50 people. We like to have, intimate groups because we like to touch every person and talk to every person and just engage with everybody in our group. So we want to have a group size that we can be able to do that, because once you start getting into the hundreds, and we love the hundreds, but it's going to be a different trip,
Right. Hey, speaking of the hundreds, when we first started this, I was introduced to Doug Cologne of DDT Travel.
Doug, travel mentor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a best friend who introduced me to him because they're both from Harlem Block 1. And so Doug, just like I said, became instrumental in just kind of giving us some advice. He signed on to be our mentor, and he was, giving me that feedback about big groups and the challenges with big groups and starting out small. And especially if we plan on, like you said, going to places like Greece, Africa, different places, how big a travel size should be to really be able to manage it and get to know people. So we took heed to that advice and we learned really fast.
Right. And I know exactly what you mean because Doug is actually my travel mentor as well, too. So I totally understand everything you're saying. Yep. I get it.
Yeah.
So, in saying all of that, can you tap into your memory and think about, hey, we had the best time in Dubai, or hey, we had the best time in Mexico? Where was your best time?
Well, today's actually the anniversary of our trip to Montego Bay, Jamaica. And this is actually the anniversary of the day that I proposed to Nasha.
Nice.
And this was August 1st of 2019. So that was our memorable trip. I know I wanted to propose to her, and I wanted to do it on a group trip. I just didn't know which one it was, but that was the one because Jamaica is my favorite country in the world to visit, and is very, dear to my heart. So I wanted to do it there. So that was for me. That was at least one of the most memorable trips for me.
That's mine,
and that's hers as well.
Right.
And then our second, there's actually not one that could top that. But in hindsight, the second one will be Dubai, something we did actually this year in March 2020. And just memorable because the pandemic whole situation was going on. And it hit and the whole world shut down while we were in Dubai.
I remember that. Because Steve, remember you and I had talked prior to that because you had one of the young ladies that was going on your trip that used to kind of roll with us, in the Travel Junkies. And I remember you and I talked about it. So I remember when you guys went. I mean, I stalked you guys that whole trip. So I saw you like at the airport. I saw you getting on the bus. I saw you guys out there in the sand dunes. I mean, I was liking here and there because I was like, just kind of off doing a bunch of stuff, but I was lurking everywhere. So I stalked that entire trip. And it looks like you guys had a great time on that trip too.
We had a great time, but it was challenging when you talk about a group trip, it's not just, as just the planning of the trip, but it's the people, right? It's the personalities that you're managing. It's their safety. It's the excursions. It's the tours. It's just all of it. And so all of that at once while the world is changing and trying to keep it together and not show them that all this is changing, and just trying to make it seamless and still make it fun and still make it safe and all these things. And then being there and being in the moment of it and enjoying it and seeing the all expressions. And at the same time, getting a text message and a phone call while you're with the group that you have to pull away from and realize, oh, wow, that trip is going to be impacted tomorrow. Oh, wow, we have to get home in 2 days because the airport is going to shut down. And being able to hold that face of, hey, everybody is still going good. That was
we all had those battle scars. So like we were just getting back from Rome on our Roman Valentine because we came back like the mid to end of February. Mm-hmm. And literally when we came back, because we were all in Frascati, we were in Padova, Naples, we were all over the place. And when we got back, that's when we heard like patient zero or the outbreak in Italy was in Padova, up in that region by Venice, where we were. Right. And then that very next week, they start closing the airport. So we made it out of there in about 7 days, which we were very thankful. And that's another reason why I was kind of stalking you guys' trip, because I was like, hey, we got out right before, but you guys are in the storm. So let me see how this plays out. But you guys, you pulled it off, though. And it was a great trip.
Right.
Yeah, it was drastic. We tell people we went with basically a flight of our own. It was like we had first class experience the entire plane because we were on Emirates airline with no one but us and I mean no one but 10 other people on an entire empty plane, only to come back with such a full flight that we thought we were in a third world country for real. Coming back on a plane
was packed.
So they stacking and packing them up.
Oh my goodness, everybody getting out of Dubai. So 2 drastic experiences. So I feel like after that we could do anything. You know what I mean? After that we can manage this climate and we can do anything.
This is true. You know, anything you go through, it just makes you stronger. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So check it out. You guys own your travel business, Changing Pace Travels, right? So what is some advice that you have for others out there that may want to start a travel business?
We have a number of things, but we figured we kind of narrow it down to the top 3 things. And I think some of the most important things is just kind of managing, doing your research from the beginning and recognizing that there's many ways to get into this business. And this, you know, do you want it part-time? Do you want it full-time? Do you want it to have travel groups? Do you want just commissions? You know, what do you want out of it? And finding the opportunity that suits your personality, your lifestyle, your ambitions and your goals, and finding that way in. I think that's the first step that people miss, right? They get led and swayed by some of the wrong things and not being honest with themselves. How much time do you have to commit to this thing? How much, you know, all of that goes into building your business. So if you really think about this as a business first, that's going to be the first opportunity for you to kind of get it right from the start. Right. Yeah. And then we came up with try not to do it all. Try not to do it all, finding your niche and your specialty, really thinking about what that is and what you love. Because if it's something you love, it doesn't feel like work.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like work, and it has longevity, and you'll be great at it and not just good at it. You'll be great at it. And don't we all want to be great at? And then what would be the third?
I would say that what friends and family are not your clients, you know.
Man, I have to pause and laugh out loud on that. Right?
That's like, and that should be like number one.
Yeah.
Because people get into business and just say, hey, I'm going to get all my friends to jump on board this thing, no matter what you're doing, right? And I get my family to jump on board. And it's like, okay. But the thing about it is, if your friends and family aren't traveling, they're not just going to start traveling just because you have a travel business. You see what I'm saying? So we were trying to get people to change pace and do something different and travel. You know, so we figured we'll get our friends, you know, to travel and pull them. We were pulling people. So we had to come to the realization that we had to meet people where they were. You know,
absolutely.
And so we changed our strategy as a pull is, hey, we are here for the people that are ready and the people that want it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
You're going to see friends and family on trips, man. And I was like, dang, why didn't they call me? Like, they see me on Facebook. They know what I do. You know what I mean? So it really used to make me mad. But you know what? But we got over that quick. And we said, hey, I promise you, we built this business from people that, first of all, our base is our hometown, 315, Syracuse. And we built that. And a lot of those people we met for the first time.
Right. We didn't know the people that came on board.
Yeah.
But because of the affiliation to 315 and connections and a good word, it spread, and it spread fast, and it spread to people in California and people in DC and people in Atlanta. And people always say, oh, I thought you knew everybody. And they think you know everybody when you meet up and you're like, no, I'm meeting everybody. For
exactly.
The first time.
Yep. That happens to me too. Like on a lot of my trips, not a lot, all of my trips, I meet at least 10 to 15 people for the first time. But when I lay eyes on them in the airport for the first time, it's like we know each other because we've been on the phone, we've been on WhatsApp, we've been in conference calls, we've been on email, you know, so I totally get it. And then the part about your family, it could be good. It also could be an epic fail. So I know exactly what you mean.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we had, people just coming, and there were new people that had never traveled before, people that had never had passports before,
Right.
and that's been the most fulfilling thing about this business,
Yeah.
these new travelers.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be someone in their 40s and 50s getting their passport for the very first time, or never been on a plane before.
Yeah, we've had both. We've even had
Yeah.
people who've gotten far from it because life took over, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Challenges took over. They had children, they had different responsibilities. And now they're saying, I want to come back to the light, to me. I want to do something for myself. I want to fulfill this. I have a bucket list and I plan to do it. And you're going, and I don't have to go by myself, and I don't have to do it scared. So we
Yep.
have all kinds of people. We have people who say, it's my celebration and my birthday, and you're going, and we can hang with y'all and do our own thing at the same time. And so
Right.
that's exciting too. So we really have a blended group when we go out.
Yeah.
And so we're here for it all. Like let's take it and change pace, and that's what we're about. Like
Right.
interruption in life. Let's take a pause, step.
Right. Let's change
Come
that
back
pace.
so that you can handle all the rest of this the next day, right? Or
Yeah.
the next week or whatever.
I dig it. Like,
Yeah.
and about the whole, like you said, the new travelers, people just getting their passports. So like about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, my South Africa trip, when I took about 40, close to 50 people over to South Africa, I had a lot of seasoned travelers on there, newbies and stuff like that. But I had this one young lady, she had never been out of the country. And South Africa was her very first trip. And I told her, I said, listen, you ought to be extremely proud of yourself, because your very first time out of the country, it wasn't something like, oh, I'm going to Costa Rica or I'm going to Jamaica. You got a big boy stamp your first time out the gate.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going
and I told her,
the cruise to the Bahamas.
Exactly. And I told her, you got a big boy stamp your first time out the gate. Because I know seasoned travelers that hadn't even been to Africa yet, and I know everybody has their, hang-ups about Africa, or their, misconceptions, or what they think it should be. So, but I get it. But you guys know, just like I know, if you're a traveler, you got to go touch Africa at least one time.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's right.
And for her to go her first time out the gate, I was impressed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'd be.
Yeah. And then she's been on several other trips with me as well too, and with our group as well too. So I love it. Those are the success stories that I love, right?
And then when they can bring people, they tell people about the good experience that they had, and they bring people.
Right.
That's right. Clients.
Right. So
right.
Always show them a good time, so they want to be, come back, and that's what we show on our pictures. If you see us on social media, that's the best way to know what we're all about.
Right, you get a great vibe from our photos and
yep. I totally get it. I totally recommend everybody check out your social media and all that good stuff like that. Yeah. Well, look, I just got one last question. I'm gonna let you guys get out of here, right? So we talked a lot about how you guys met, the business, the pitfalls, dealing with family and friends, as well as, the successes that you guys have had and all of that stuff like that, right? So what's next on the horizon for Change and Pace Travel? Like, where do you guys see yourself in 5 years?
You want to know where? Thriving, still here, managing whatever transition happened, and being able to do whatever God wants us to do, in all honesty. Because at this point, sometimes you have to be honest with yourself and say, I have a big vision and a big dream, but right now I just want to thrive and survive this momentum, and whatever God, however he twists and turns, I'm rolling with the punches so that we can be there in 5.
Man, I love that. Steve, I need to borrow her just for her writing skills, because I need her to write my mission statement for me, okay?
You see her writing skills on our website. She wrote all of that, man. She does it all, man.
I'm getting it firsthand. I'm getting it firsthand in this interview right now, man. So I get it. Yeah. And then, we go back anyway, from the time, because like I said, we're all hooked up with the same host company, to the time, we all sat down and had dinner the first time and all of that good stuff like that. So, we're like family in the game anyway. So, I get it. Yeah. But I need you to write that mission statement for me. We're going to talk offline. Okay. Well, look, it was great talking to you guys. It was awesome. It was very informative. I can't wait for the listeners to get a hold to this show. So they can, just take in everything that they need to in terms of how to start a business, some of the pitfalls, all of that good stuff. But Again, at the end of the show, I love for people to go ahead and drop all of their social media info as they did at the top of the show, because again, we have some latecomers sometime to the Layover show. So go ahead and drop all that stuff for me again.
Look, if you look at Changing Pace Travel, not paces, not places, but pace. Changing pace. Changing pace travel.
Changing pace travel. Get it.
All the social media sites, and here we are.
Right. Gotcha. And our website is changingpacetravel.com. And please go check out our website. Even if you just go see the work that Nasha did. And we had a great person that built our website. Could y'all just go check it out and make sure you check out our pictures on Flickr that we have on there, and
Changing Pace Travel.
Changingpacetravel.com.
Changingpacetravel.com.
Right. CPT.
If you can't remember that, man, come on now. CPT, Changing Pace Travel.
That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, listen, guys, again, I appreciate you being able to take time out of your busy day, your busy travel schedule to get on and talk to little old me and my listeners here at the Layover Show. And I'm definitely going to get you guys back on another show later in the future, because I got some other things I want to talk to you guys about as well, too.
All right.
Sounds
good.
Thank you for that, Craig.
All right. Speak to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening, and thanks to Steve and Nasha for sharing their experiences. I love how these two met, fell in love, recognized they both had the travel bug, and turned that love they have into one of the fastest growing travel agencies in the travel space. Not to mention, they have one of the best when we met and fell in love stories I've ever heard. Kudos to the Changing Pace Travel team. If you like what you've heard, please check out more episodes on my website, www.thetraveljunkie.com. There you'll have access to more content, blogs, video clips, and even some planned group trips that I have in the future. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Layover podcast so you never miss an episode. The Layover is produced by me, the Travel Junkie, and my mission here is to connect travelers from all over the globe, whether you're a seasoned traveler, solo traveler, or a novice looking for insight and information. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time on The Layover.